Welcome to Career Practitioner Conversations. This podcast is presented by the National Career Development Association. Hello, and thanks for listening. I'm Melissa Venable, NCDA Director of Professional Development, and I am here with Dr. Tina Persson. Tina is based as a global career coach in Sweden, and her background includes work as a coach, educator, trainer, recruiter, brand manager, entrepreneur. She's currently the CEO of Passage to Pro. And I think this combination of experience and expertise is going to lend itself well to our conversation about how artificial intelligence is changing the job search. Now, Tina and I actually met in person for the first time at PodFest 2024 in Orlando. And we've been trying to get this conversation together for some time. So, Tina, a pleasure to finally have you on the NCDA show.
Thank you so much, Melissa. I'm so happy to be on the show here. I'm super excited to discuss with you.
You and I have had several conversations during the year to kick this off. And one of the most interesting topics that I think we've hit on has been related to the future of the job search process. And the work that you're doing with your clients and the people that you're providing training to prepare them for how this is going to change. How do you think AI is going to be involved in this?
The change is a shift, I would say. It's not only a change, it's a completely shift. And the shift also include a mindset to both career coaching and to job seeking and how we can thrive in our career and life. What I say, it could be good to know that I have an academic background, and I like to refer and go back to that a bit because one of my biggest challenges, and that was 2009, when I transitioned from academia to industry, I was subjected to a mindset shift because the mindset of performing a career in the academic environment is vastly different from the mindset you need to have in industry. So that was one shift. And the first mindset shift I had was that. And the next one was when LinkedIn exploded, basically. And I just realized that the industry I worked in, the recruitment industry, was just changing overnight. Because before LinkedIn, everyone could be their own recruiter. Suddenly, the power went to the client because they could build up and headhunt their own job. So that was one shift in my life. And then the next one came when I was working with my own company, Passage to Pro, and ChatGPT was introduced. And I was sitting listening to a futuristic IMAX Rimton, and I just realized that, wow, this is going to be a game changer. And I started to introduce ChatGPT in my coaching. And from day one, I realized that job search will never be the same again. It is a mind shift, but it's also a mind shift to, as we discussed before here, that how to use it, understand how to use it, but also to develop together with ChatGPT. So yeah, it's a mindset, I would say, not only a digital or technology shift, because we need to be digital savvy today as well. But I go back to the mindset because the mindset will basically define how you work with it, whether you are a career coach or a job seeker.
Oh, excellent. And I think that mindset is important. And I think we use that term a lot in career counseling and career advising. And because there are lots of changes, not just the technology, as you mentioned. True. Now, one of the conversations we've had in the past, you said to me, resumes and cover letters are going away.
Yeah.
And can you speak more to that?
Yeah.
I think that's fascinating.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's interesting. As I said here before the show, I gave a workshop yesterday, and if I then have 25 people in a very tight workshop, participant, all of these one being postdoc or PhDs in academia, say, I need help with my resume. And I say, why? I need to how to write it. And they are still in the mindset how to write the headline and etc. But I said, that's not a problem. There are AI-driven CV providers that can help you with the design of a resume. That's not the problem. The problem is most likely what you're going to put in the resume. Yeah, of course. Yeah. And for that, you need to know who you are and what you want. And you need to change your whole resume so it actually tags in and tailors to the job ad. All career coaches know that. But now we have to be completely aware of that companies and clients, companies and recruiters are using AI to write the jobs. Yeah, of course. That's one thing. The other thing is that recruiters today have the possibility to feed an AI with 250 resumes and put in some criteria on how to rank the resumes. And that's going to be done very quickly. I tried it myself. It's super easy. And in that process, you need to understand you can't really impact much. So that is a sort of a pre-selection of your resume. So if you're not top 10 there, you are not selected. And if you don't realize that, then of course you might take a huge risk not to end up top 10 and you will be frustrated because you don't understand what is the game. And I say, if you're going to play that game, you have to use AI to beat AI. So you must start to use AI to crack the code. And this is something I've done with my clients. It's amazing. Now I have super smart clients. They can be very skeptical and critical, but when they get it, it's wow. And then they start to play the game and suddenly they can see both the LinkedIn pages and the resumes being accepted and they come for interviews. Then, of course, a clever question is, Melissa, but if everyone is doing this, then how can everyone be top 10? That's a very good question. Now before this discussion here, I talked with a headhunter and she said, yeah, I can see that problem already because now the resumes looks very similar. It's the same terminology, the same jargon, etc., etc. And the profiles are clearly written. So it's important that, of course, you edit. But I said, what can you make to stand out? Yeah, it's getting more tricky. I believe, and I know this already, of course, that not only it's going to be that recruiters going to organize all the resumes and you have to do that, and AI can also include other parts of your life, like put in personality assessment. You can do testing, so you really test your skills. You can be evaluated much more easily with the help of an AI. So the recruiters much more quickly get an idea of who you are, if I put it that way. So there, I think, as a job seeker, to impact that is difficult. But you can help yourself by saying, okay, I need to figure out what I want. Who am I? So I figure out the job field. So I seek a job field where I fit in. And with that said, that is also the moment today most of my clients actually get a job, if I put it that way. When they nail in the job field, they are more prone to come for the interviews. If that tool had existed when I was on the labor market, I would have most likely had a bigger chance to much more quickly realize that I am an entrepreneur. Because I got the feedback from people telling me, you are an entrepreneur, Tina, you should. And I said, no, they don't understand me. But if I get a machine that doesn't know me saying the same thing and maybe give me feedback that if you don't think it, you can do it, maybe evaluate different options and etc. So I can see this future being for the good or the bad, if I put it that way. But we have to get used to be evaluated more on a broader level. Another thing is that many today come for interviews already on a video. So you're going to sit and chat with a robot machine and have a video and you answer questions. And they can evaluate you maybe already from what you look like when you say, I say, for example, to you, Millie, I feel really great. But you as a human being look at me and you say, but Tina, you say you look right, but you look sad. So they can evaluate that. And also when you learn to communicate, the robot machine maybe do the first screening interview before you pass on. So you need to train to actually answer interview questions. And for that, you need to learn who you are. Who are you? What drives you? What's your natural talents and etc. And another thing to stand out today is maybe to build your own network. So you circumvent the whole system. Yeah. I say, if you don't like it, circumvent it. So you need to join in on the hidden job market. Yeah. Contact people, talk with people, and make a video of 1 or 2 minutes so people get an idea of who you are. And the resume, everyone know you probably have used ChatGPT. So you could probably write on your resume a little bit further down, as we do, references upon request. You can say written by Chat with the help with ChatGPT, because everyone is doing that today. This is very futuristic, maybe, Melissa. Maybe I didn't answer your question, but we need to be extremely open-minded with that. The future will not be as the past. So in this job-seeking process, we are not in the middle. We're just in the beginning of a completely change how we will be evaluated, with or without a title. And remember, I work with PhDs, I work with postdocs, and they like to sell themselves as a PhD, and that will not be enough, because we need to look beyond the titles, if I put it that way.
Oh, no, you definitely answered the question, and you've given me several more to enter your way. I want to go back to the assessment a little bit. I know that in the career development field, we often use assessments with our clients and students, especially in those early exploration kinds of days, to get them thinking about where the best match is for the things that they like to do and the person that they are, and helping them discover who that person is. So what I'm hearing you say is that now it's not going to be that those assessments are not going to be part of necessarily, or not just a part of their career coaching and career counseling experience, but that's something employers are going to deploy. Yeah. How do we get our students and clients ready for that?
And that's a very good question. I think this is a job that, if you look on the career coaches, career advisors job, it's going to change. If I just go back in time a little bit, when I started my journey as a career coach over 10 years ago, because basically I helped people as a recruiter as well, I was an expert. How to write the CV, resume, how to answer the questions. Now we need to work much more with the human skills as coaches. Of course, we need to be tech savvy, because we need to be aware of what tools and how the tools work. But the career coaches and counselors need to be more into the human skills. So we help the clients to build security in being evaluated from a different perspective, not only from the technology perspective, but also as human beings. And that I have learned it to say, and as already yesterday in my workshop, I had to say several times, everyone here on the screen I have on Zoom, you are different, you are unique. Because you have different drives, you have different talents, your personality is different, you have different ambitions. We are different, even though we might have the technical similarities. And that is what you will be recruited for. Because technical skills, companies can reskill you, but it's harder if you have the wrong mindset. So it is very important to say that, and I can take myself, I need to have a manager that doesn't control me. I can't have a manager that micromanage me. I had that. I was fired. And I took it personally, instead of saying, we are not the match. Either you go or I go. I can't stay here. Yeah, it's nothing wrong with me. It's me. I changed job. Don't take it personally. And if we are building a team, which I have my PhD career story team, and I had really good people applying, and I said, nothing wrong with you. Don't ask me that. It's just that I need a person that fit into the team. I already have one like you. So it's not, we should see ourselves as unique. And then, of course, we learn with life that we need to blend in a little bit. That's politics and teamwork and working with people. And we learn that with time. But there is a generation of people out there. They are scared. They want to be perfect. They don't want to fail. And they say, what is a perfect personality? And I say, oh, it's no perfect personality. And the person you don't like today, you can love tomorrow because you complement. So career coaches today and counselors and advisors should work with the human skills. And they should try to figure out and help the clients, according to me, to work on positive things like energizing skills. What gives them energy doing, so they learn to express that, because that means that many companies today, they are looking for talents, they are looking for people, but they not always know what they are looking for. But if a client comes and says, that job maybe don't fit to me because my energizing skills is this, and this is how I have learned it from the past, then they can say, okay, then this job is not for you, but we might have something here in the future that would fit you. And I know I've done that with a couple of clients in the United States. I said, do that. Go to your manager, take that risk. And she said, that's interesting. They changed the profile. Yeah, of course, because they wanted to keep you and they want you to actually stay in the job. So that, I think, focus on human skills and the energizing skills. That's one. The other one is to help them to understand how adaptable they are. That means building resilience. I know that's a word everyone is using today, but it is indeed important, because the reason I say that, the majority of my clients today are clients, they have been afraid to fail and they are afraid to join the wrong job. So when they start the job and they feel it's not the right one, they are more afraid to stay, so they leave because they are afraid that if I stay in this job, I don't get a good reference, then I will create the wrong CV. And then I say, hey, no, you should stay and learn to be bored for a while, and then figure out and learn other things in the job that is more connected to human skills. Because many of my clients, they actually focus on the technology thing. So they don't learn anything. It's boring stuff. And I say, hey, we train emotional intelligence instead. We train resilience. You build your network. You learn to communicate with your managers. Let's focus on that. And I promise you, it's going to take some years. Because I'm, as your coach, I'm still working on that. And when that is okay, then you're ready to take the next. And who knows, maybe the job is more fun then because you have changed and you maybe will be internally recruited. You don't know. So coaches and clients, career coaches and advisors, this is the advice I give from my perspective. Yeah, it's easy to focus on the technical stuff, but focus on the human skills. And human skills, that is what's going to set us apart from AI. AI will not be able to compete with us with our human skills.
No, this is great advice. And I think you're adding a voice to the conversation that we're not really hearing a lot of right now. And it, again, I'm using the word fascinating. I'm using that a lot today, that this drive with all of this technology that's moving so quickly and taking over so many things, it's really, from what you're telling me, it's making us become more introspective as human beings, which is a really interesting change up, and so maybe something unexpected for most people. So the more that we know who we are as individuals and what we're capable of, and the more we put our effort into developing those skills that make us human, the more competitive we're going to be.
You're going to be much more competitive. And the people we work with, they are smart. So they can learn technology. So if they then add on these human skills, they're going to be great leaders. And we're going to need great leaders in the future that can work in a world that maybe is a little bit chaotic and very fast driven. So future leadership skills, for example, that most likely is to be able to lead without knowing myself as a leader, what's going to happen tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah. And if you take, I mentioned also that with the people we have here, PhDs and postdocs, the mindset you train in an academic environment is to be an expert. And I had that mindset myself, and that was a big hindrance. And I couldn't take it to me. I got feedback from my first manager, but I didn't understand what he said, actually. It took me years to understand this mindset I have is not really good. There's something wrong with it. And then I sat it with my coach around and said, oh yeah, one day I was like, you know what? I have an expert mindset, and that is that I know everything. I have to walk around and tell people things instead of asking questions, asking for help. Opening up for new perspective is easy to say. So I will give you an example here because I experienced it over the last month. I was back in an academic environment on site, and I had a lot of academically trained people in math and physics and professors and so. And I immediately learned that I, as the trainer, ends up defending. And then after a while, why I'm standing here defending? So I had to break myself. So instead, I changed my mindset. So I take, I'm not going to stand here and defend. I'm going to ask questions back. But then I realized I was pulled back into an academic environment where we discuss. We don't have a dialogue. And I'm a member of an executive club where the executives comes from industry. And I gave a workshop there, and it's so different because I feel like they are squeezing out me all sorts of information. They make me feel super great as a trainer. They are so interested and they ask questions, and we are discussing, and basically we're not discussing, we're having a dialogue, I realize. So suddenly I realized, okay, with the executives, I have a dialogue. With the professors and postdocs and PhDs, I have a discussion. And the feeling is huge because the informational sort of communication or the information flow grows with the executives, where I learn as much as they learn. But in the teaching part where we discuss, it is a dead end in the end. And that is the expert role. And we know that the expert role is a status quo mindset that could stop curiosity and the new perspectives to come in. So we're killing new perspectives. And this is, of course, directly linked to innovation. So this is also something that if you are a career coach, career advisor, it's important to move away from the expert role, because in that way, we're going to limit the client. So I think the challenge we're going to face as coaches and trainers in this field is that I have to give a workshop and I actually don't know everything. I'm going to, maybe my client know more than me in this. So how can we, what is my role as a coach here? Just a reflection. I talk a lot, Melissa, but I'm coming into this topic automatically here. But this is something that fascinates me about the future coaching role, if I put it that way.
Oh, absolutely. And what you just described is something that is innately human, that awareness of the different dynamics of working with different kinds of people, and then being able to read that and make a shift into what's needed in that time. And then seeing how you can take what's working in one place and move it and work in different situations, in different contexts. Wow. There's a lot going on here. And I think maybe we have some more conversations in our future talking about expertise in particular.
Yeah. And that can go back to academic leadership, where I think that is a need for a mindset shift as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So as we wrap up our time for this particular episode, what do you recommend for our listeners who are working in career development roles and with all kinds of different students and clients around the world, really? Where should they be looking? Where can they be referencing information that will help them to make this shift and to provide this kind of connection and service to the folks they're working with?
That's a very good question. And I ask myself that question basically every day. What can I do? And I think, number one, if you know you're an expert, change mindset, try to become more of a facilitator. Then the other one, you need to be today a digital savvy. That means you had to start as a career coach, counselor, etc., to just dig in and test and try tools. Join groups, try to meet people that are far away from your own expertise. That is one tip. And I can storytell a little bit about that in the end. That is another one. You need, and for yourself, I think more than ever, whatever happened with AI, because there are going to be AI coaches out there They're not going to take your job. They're going to help you to be a better coach. These tools are going to help you to be a better coach, so you can actually focus on things that we love to work with, and that's a human being. And then let the AI coach do things that you maybe think is a bit repetitive or a bit boring. Because I know we coaches do things and we think, oh God, no, I have to do this again. Let's see if the AI coach can do that, so you can be doing much more of what you love to do. Then stay open-minded, stay curious, and dare to fail. I think that's another thing that we have to get used to. Oh no, that didn't really work. You tried it, yeah? Because in that way, you actually are a role model for your client. So that's a good one, I think. Yeah.
I think so. That's a great list. You've brought so many interesting ideas, I think, a different perspective and suggestions for real strategies that we can put into our work immediately. So thank you so much, Tina, for your time, sharing your expertise and your experience with us, and for supporting our NCDA listeners. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you a lot for inviting me. It's been a pleasure to be here.